If you're like me, over the last 10 years, you try to look like this man. You bought all this fancy equipment to try to look like this and never getting there. I was always curious what I was missing. Couldn't quite put my finger on it. That's when it dawned on me. I only needed one thing. A hammer. But not just any hammer. No, I needed a hammer that was weighted and only the worthy could lift. But a hammer like that is only forged from a collapsing star. Now unfortunately, I don't know how to forge a hammer from a collapsing star. But I do have the next best thing. A 3D printer. So let's build it. I have created the head of the hammer. Once the handle prints, I will know that everything works and fits together. And once we have that figured out, size it up, and we go from there. Handle just finished printing. The head's done. Not promising yet. It's a little loose right there in the screws. This is why you test things. A little bit of sandpaper. It's tight. Sand down this part. Probably the hardest thing 3D printing is definitely screws. Screws are difficult. Still figuring out how to model screws to work the way you want them to, because there's just no easy way to do it. Create your own screw-in pieces. But you live, you learn. Keep working at it, and eventually the method will come out. And keep doing it until it fits. Oh, I just got back from my run. And the print has stopped. My filament, see that? It's wrapped up. I don't know how this happened. I don't know if it came like this. Looks like this piece was threaded under. Why would it be like that? Now I'm at the probably, see, caught again. I just want to unroll this entire roll and make sure that it's not like this anymore, because it looks like it's probably messed up there too. It is what it is. I'll get this figured out and then on to reprinting this, I guess.
One eternity later.
Alright, I stopped it there. I got about 700 grams off of it, but my forearms are dying. I look good. It sucks. Printed. Now we assemble, make sure everything works. A little loose, but nothing super glue won't fix. The hammer is finished. Got some details. I'm still gonna print some pieces to go in here for a little decoration around the edges. Those are in the process of printing right now, but it's not the important part. So I guess the next step here, we have this, cut this dowel down. Dowel's gonna fit inside the handle, like this. And we're gonna cut it down right about here so it touches the top of the head. And this will add a bunch of extra support to the handle so that it doesn't break. First, we need tape measure. Let's go 4 3/8, and we need to cut off a little bit more we can. That math, that's wrong that on my phone, so it doesn't have to be exact. It's not an exact science here. This is a emitter box. I also 3D printed this. I used to actually make this table. It works really well. I was very surprised by it. Super simple design. Here. Goes in there. Let's see if I can take off any more. You see that little gap right there, and it's touching the top, so probably take off like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Fit. Now cut off a little too much, but nothing that it won't have any problems with. I bought this 50-pound bag of sand that is now spilling, but we're going to fill the head of the hammer. Alright, changed my mind about the next step. There's a small gap in here, so I'm going to try to get some sand in there, you know, to give it a little bit of bracing material. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get down there, but it's worth the try. Pretty coarse, so I don't think I'm going to get a lot down there. Start. With just that one little pinch. That one little pinch just completely stopped the movement. So that's all I needed. Do that, twist it around, kind of grind it up, get it all in there. Now, it's in there. So the next step, I'm going to glue this with just a little bit of super glue. Nothing fancy. It's glued. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. When we come back, I will fill the head with sand. I feel like I'm about to make a huge mess, but it's just the garage, so I can always clean it out. I wanted to fill this up with metal BBs, like ones you would like load shotgun shells with, but I did the math on the volume that I had, and then I went online. Looked up how much it would cost to fill that volume with BBs, and it was about $150. So I could buy a 50 to 80 pound version of this for that price. I know some people use 2-part welding glue, but I don't think it's that important. So, a healthy amount of super glue. That's nice. It's actually a good weight. Now, I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit, run some errands, come back. We'll weld the seams back so that the plastic's all fused. And once I feel good about all that, I will start sanding, painting the bad boy. Since I glued and welded together the head of the hammer. I have swung it around a couple times, but with the clamps on, so I'm going to take the clamps off and we're going to see if it holds together, which I'm very nervous about. Now time for the real test. It held up. You can see we definitely have some sanding and cosmetics to take care of here, but that will be the next step. Go ahead and get this sanded up, and then we'll start painting. Sanding it, I did 80, 120, 240 grit with the electric sander. It tore off a good amount of that filament that we burned on yesterday and exposed, let's see if you can see it. Let's see, exposed a gap right here that I really don't like. So I don't want to solder it anymore because that was kind of a dumb idea. So instead, I'm just going to fill this crack with super glue and hopefully that fixes the problem and we can just sand it down, hand sanding with a little bit of a higher grit and get it smooth, paint over it, won't even notice. I just woke up, so I thought I'd get some sanding done before work. I'm going to wet sand this down with 400 grit paper, get this nice and smooth today, and then start painting later today. Now the head's nice and smooth. Sanded down to 400 grit. I still haven't sanded the handle, so going to just hand sand it. I think that's the best bet to go. So we'll hand sand this, put the primer on. I still have to print another 3 of these pieces for the head. And then once that's done, we finished up. Everything is nice and sanded down now. Last step before I start painting is putting these on. I want to put these on before
I paint because I'm worried that paint buildup in here will make this not be able to fit because it's already such a snug fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these on before that.
So the assembly of the hammer is complete. I gotta let the glue dry on some of these more decorative pieces. And then it's time to start adding paint to it. Thought the filler primer would be enough to fill some of the gaps in here, but now that I have the coat on and sanded smooth, it doesn't look like it's going to. Let's see right here. You can see this little gap right here on the top of the hammer. It's just not filled up. Usually I fill this with a little bit of Bondo putty, but I don't have any. So we're gonna use the next best thing. Wood filler. We're gonna let it dry. Come back, give it another sanding. Might give it another coat of primer, I'm not sure yet, and then we'll start painting. Cleaned it up pretty good. You don't see any more. Paint over it, you won't be able to see it anymore. There we go. So the sanding is finally done. I have the hammer set up. A makeshift little paint booth here. Alright, we're going to start with the handle. I have, let's see, satin brown Rust-Oleum paint. So that's going to go on the handle first. We got our first coat down. Usually I don't paint in the garage, but it is night and I don't have any lights outside, so I gotta go ahead and paint in here. It'll filter out eventually. Started with a real light coat of brown. I'm gonna go with a gray on the bottom, brown right here, and then metallic for the rims in there that you can see. Final step of the painting process. I'm really excited to get this done. finally finished the hammer. All the paint's done. Last thing we have to do is weigh it. About a total of 11.6 pounds. A perfect weight. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you want to do this project yourself, go ahead and find my link to my printables down below, and you can find all the files that I used to make this hammer. Go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If not, let me know what you would have liked better.